Roger L. Simon is well known for his writings for PJ Media, the Epoch Times, and other outlets. He's also a best-selling author of 13 books and happens to be an Oscar-nominated screenwriter of 7 feature films, including Enemies, a love story. So how did someone with a successful Hollywood career end up moving to Nashville? Well, I'll tell you, the answer is in his new book. It's called American Refugees, a look at the mass exodus from blue states to red states. Please give a warm welcome to Roger L. Simon. Roger, great to have you here. Every week in our studio audience, we have 3 or 4 couples who are from California, and they're here, they're either just moved or they're looking for a place to move to in Tennessee, and I call them the refugees. You stole this and wrote a book about it.
I must have heard it on your show. No, I didn't, but nevertheless, it fascinated me. I was a refugee for 5 years now, and I lived most of my life in Los Angeles trying to be a hit in Hollywood. And I'll tell you something, there are a lot of reasons, and watching your show is interesting in that regard. I think the big reason I left is spiritual.
Really?
But it's in the book, and it's in the last chapters of the book called Steeples. Now, I'm a Jewish guy.
Yeah.
But when I arrived here, I looked around and I thought, what are all these steeples doing here? Now, if you live in Los Angeles, as I did, obviously there are big synagogues and churches in Los Angeles, but you don't notice them because what you notice is Warner Brothers, every other thing, the fancy stores. It's a wholly different thing.
Yeah.
But when you come to this area, all of a sudden, and I've become more religious for it. And I thank all my evangelical friends. In the book, there's a considerable part where I talk about all these evangelical guys I play tennis with. And all of them are always saying to me, Roger, what's with these Jews that don't like Israel?
Yeah.
Because they've all been there.
I was going to say, and most of them, the evangelicals are the most supportive American people for Israel, period.
Oh, no question. Well, there are a few of us Jews who are that way.
Okay.
But nevertheless, what you're saying is generally true.
But what was the turning point for you? You're an Oscar-nominated Hollywood guy. You've got a successful career. You've been there forever. I mean, there has to be a breaking point at which you just say, that's it.
Well, part of it was I started, after 9/11, I and my wife and we had a bit of a political conversion. We had our, road to Damascus moment called 9/11. All of a sudden, none of my friends talk to me anymore because, Muslims aren't the only ones who don't like apostates. Apostasy is something people don't generally like. And I've started to feel unwelcome. Not only that, there was a note in my mailbox that read, "We know where you live."
Whoa.
Not a happy experience.
That's unsettling.
Not a happy experience.
You have written in the book, and it's very revealing to me because it's not what I thought. You said that when people leave these blue states and come to the red states, the fear of the people in the red states is, they're going to bring their crazy politics with them. You say that what you've discovered is those people are getting out of it for a conviction of conscience, and they're not the problem. The problem exists in some of these red states where people don't realize what these folks have left.
You have exactly spoken the theme of my book, and I'm very pleased that because most times when I'm interviewing, I have to do that myself because the interviewer hasn't read it. Anyway, no, that's what the strange thing that occurred because when we first moved here and before then, there was a lot of stuff on the internet. It was all around. Don't bring your California values with you, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But what turned out is that most of us who came here, we didn't want to pay a lot of taxes. Who does, right? On the other hand, the real reason we decided to come 2,000 miles, or people came from New York or Chicago, was we were looking for the America of our dreams, for the America of the founders, in short. And what we discovered was there were problems in the places that we went to that we weren't expecting. And there was a kind of a culture clash that has gone on. I don't know if people in the audience, the ones who've come from California, have experienced it. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
I try to express that in the book because eventually there is a dialogue going on between these people, and including, I mean, some of the politicians in these states, not the governors senior and junior of Arkansas, but others that disappointed us. And interestingly, I got to meet a lot of them because I worked for the Epoch Times, and I realized that we were having an influence on them. Everything was not what was expected, but that's life.
Well, I think it's an extraordinary book, and what I loved about it, you're very specific. I love the story of going to John Rich's house. John's been on our show many times, a wonderful voice. He's not afraid to speak.
Not at all.
But it's a book that reveals why people are moving and what they're experiencing. And it really is, quite frankly, a book about reclaiming the heart and soul of the America that most of us grew up in. I hope you will get a copy of Roger L. Simon's book. It's called American Refugees. And if you want to find all the great books and columns by Roger L. Simon, and there are a lot of them, if you go to Huckabee.tv, we are going to connect you to Roger. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll consider clicking the subscribe button below and the notification bell next to it so you don't miss any of our future videos when they go up online.